Your wife is a nerd. Get used to it. Hi everyone, it's Melissa, your plantita abogada from Tasteful Nodes, coming to you today with, I guess, some sort of experiment, right? I've always been interested in potting mixes, for lack of a better term. Potting media, I guess. And I've been meaning to try this one for a while now, but you know, circumstances finally pushed me into this, and I'm really excited for this episode. Today we're going to make our gritty mix. Thankfully, there are a whole bunch of written guides online as to how to do it, and with friends who've actually tried it and can tell me their experiences and share what worked and what didn't. I mean, I feel pretty confident in making my gritty mix, and I'm really excited about it. And I hope you are too. If this kind of information is right up your alley, if you like experimenting, if you like looking for new things for your plants, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'm always interested in learning new things as well, and I would love to have you on board. So without further ado, let me go through my disclaimers really quick before we get started. One, I am not a plant expert. Please don't refer to me as one. I'm not to be used as an academic resource. I will be putting down information either in the description or on the bottom of the video where I received the information that I just shared with you, okay? So those are the resources that you should be referring to. Number two, in relation to that, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. You know, plants are living things. We put money and time and effort towards raising them. So we want to make sure that whatever you decide to do, especially if it's an idea that you got from this video, that you research and make sure that you're doing what's best for your plants as well. Now, with all of that being said, let me go ahead and jump into our materials for this little project, okay? We will need a basin. We'll need something to measure with. In this case, to keep things equal, I'm using a little food container that I use for propagations out here. You'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. I have zeolite. I have the Z4 and Z5 sizes. I have some pumice, which is mungo size. Friends in the US, I don't know what size this would be for you guys. We base our pumice sizes on food, so stuff that we can relate to. This is mungo, which is a small little mung bean. If you've seen it in an Asian restaurant or an Asian store, little mung bean. So this is what this size is based on. The next size up, I believe, is corn. So yeah, I can't help you there. Lava rock. I also have lava rock here. This is Z4 size, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. You will also need some heavy-duty gloves. My friend Pia warned me that I would want to either get my husband involved in this and have him do the hard work, or get some good gloves, get some thick gloves, because she said that the tips of her fingers bruised. So if you're one of those people who bruise easily, you might want to consider thicker gloves. Scissors just to open the bags and not make a mess. And you'll need some water, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. So, first things first, what is a gritty mix, right? A gritty mix is a soilless type of mix that has been traditionally used for plants that aren't too happy about too much water. I mean, they like water good and well, but not like aeroids do. So I'm talking about cactus and succulents, the like. It's inorganic, typically inorganic. I have seen some mixtures. In fact, the original mixture here in the Philippines, I believe, included some tree bark, and it was used by a bonsai master, so it can have some organic materials in it. But the one that I'm using, my gritty mix, and what I've seen from friends, their gritty mixes don't contain any organic components to it. Inorganic all the way. The whole purpose behind a gritty mix is that you won't be able to overwater your plant, which is great for people like myself who are heavy water waterers. We call them water benders. If you watch Avatar, you know about the water benders and how much they love their water. Well, that's me when I water. I water until the water comes out of the pot like a waterfall. But you know, you can't blame me. It's really, really hot here in the Philippines, especially during the summer, which we're just now going to be heading into in probably a couple weeks. And I want to make sure that my plants are getting enough water. So that's why I do what I do. Gritty mix is supposed to solve the problem of overwatering plants, causing root rot, drowning them with love and affection and water. And that's why I'm really interested in it. Like I mentioned earlier, so we've got some zeolite, pumice, and lava rock as components. These should probably be your basic components for this. And they can all be found online. I found them on Shopee, and we're located near Mount Pinatubo, so pumice is really something that's readily available in our area. So we didn't have any problem finding that literally just a few minutes away. Someone's selling that. Lava rock can be found online as well, but like I said, we're near a volcano, so this stuff is easily found here. Before we started, I actually measured out these two guys. They're roughly the same. So I measured 1 cup because I would like to do a 1:1 mix. I am watering right now every other day. It's not summertime yet, but we're getting there. And once summertime arrives, I'll be watering every single day. So it's important for me that my plants have the best possible potting mixtures. I do like the potting mixture that I have right now, but you know, I'm the type of person who actually repots twice a year, and that's because after the summer mix, rainy season comes. So my summer mix, which holds a lot of water, won't do really well in the rainy season, because when it rains, it pours here. It rains cats and dogs, so not only will it hold all that water, it may just actually be waterlogged as well. And that's why I repot twice a year. However, if this works out well, this may just be the solution for all my 900 plants. I don't know if I'm gonna go 900, okay, with a gritty mix, but at least for the majority of them, I probably will switch if this works out fine. I would have released my PathCal video by the time you watch this video. So even though I'm really encouraged and I adore PathCal, price-wise, it doesn't make sense for me to use for 900 or so plants. Probably not even 300. Probably what I have here in this area might be good for PathCal, and that's it. Just because it's just so pricey. I figure that as soon as more people hear about it and start looking for it and wanting to use it, the price probably will go down, as these things normally do. But until that happens, I can't imagine myself using it as a main potting source or potting mixture source for my plants. So these guys have been measured. They're roughly 1 cup each. I do want to use 2 different kinds of zeolite sizes, just because this component seems to be the one that will hold the water the most. So I want to make sure that what I do use is something that is different in size, so that it won't compact my mixture. And I mean, I have the lava rock and the pumice that won't break down, but I also want to make sure that whatever I mix in is also not going to break down and clog up the holes in my pots. So let me go ahead and measure these guys. It'll probably be, let's start with this guy. I'm probably going to be looking at maybe 1/3 of this, of the Z5. Because while I do want it to hold water, I don't want it to hold too much water. And these smaller components might actually cause a problem for me. Yes. Okay. And then let me put this guy in to reach the top line of this cup. Okay. A little more because I like that. Okay. So roughly the same size as these two. Roughly the same amount as these two. I could already see where the sore fingertips are gonna come in. Okay, here you go. So we've got our lava rock, our pumice, and our zeolite all measured. 1:1:1. Same measuring. You could use any kind of measurement tool that you want. You could actually use cups, actual baking cups, to figure out your measurements, but you know, really just make it, for the most basic recipe, make it something that would make all the ingredients equal to each other. So let me go ahead and pour these components into the basin. Okay, let me get my gloves on. Now let's get this started. Okay, does anyone else have a pet peeve like I do? Where unless you're swimming or taking a bath, you don't want your feet wet? Because that's me. And that's what I just did. I got my feet wet. And I hate it. I don't like wet toes when I'm not taking a bath. I hate it. Or swimming. Or at the beach. I'm telling you. Weird stuff. So first rinse, and if you cook rice, it looks exactly like that. Yeah, have a look-see. So let me just mix some of this. Oh my goodness, the water's hot. It's not even summer and the water is hot. The reason we rinse this is because we don't want the dust or any other impurities competing with our plants, with our roots, for the space. I definitely don't want this clogging up any of the holes for the pots either. So yeah, just bear with me. I'm gonna keep rinsing, okay? So this is rinse number 2. It's looking a little slightly clearer. One issue I am seeing is that I have pumice floating on the top of the water and escaping the mix. Okay, number 7. Is this the lucky number? I think so. Rinse number 8. This is rinse number 8. Looks very, very different from what we had earlier, which looked like hugas bigas or rice water, right? The first rinsing. And I think we've made it, friends. I think we're there. Let me go ahead and dump this out. I will be right back. And we can finish up our discussion. Okay, I'm back. So it took us 8 rinses to get this cleaned up to something acceptable. Go ahead and show you what we're dealing with here. It's a pretty nice mix, nice looking mix, right? It's also surprisingly gotten a little bit more weight to it. It's not as heavy as my summer aeroid mix, which has coconut cubes and holds more water, I suppose, than these ingredients. But it's definitely different from what it was earlier. What I want to discuss before I finish up is that earlier I mentioned that one of the cons would be that it wastes more water because, you know, it's not very water retentive. meaning that we will see more water leave. It's very well draining. One thing I could think of off the top of my head is something that my friend Manny Rex did, and he uses a gritty mix as well. He uses a gritty mix for his self-watering pots, and that, I think, my friends, is a solution to wasting water. So in order to conserve, let's use this in self-watering pots where we can, right? I imagine that not all pots will probably be, or not all plants will probably fit into self-watering pots. I have a few plants that are gigantic, giants, that it just won't make sense to put them in pon or gritty mix based on the pricing alone. But for my other plants, the smaller ones, self-watering pots will actually work quite well. And it will lessen, if I'm guessing correctly, it'll lessen the amount of time that I'll spend watering over the summer. So I think that may be the trick to saving water or conserving water while using the gritty mix. Finally, what I want to discuss is gritty mixes are not, I guess, they're not absolute. And what I mean absolute is, I mean in terms of ingredients, materials that you can use. So just like aeroid mixes aren't absolute in terms of what you must use in order to have a good aeroid mix, so are gritty mixes, okay? I've seen some people use leca in their mixes. Like I said, someone actually uses tree bark in their mixes, which I think is a fantastic idea. A little pricey, I'm guessing, just because we don't have access to it easily here. Yeah, you can order online, but it's more expensive than these materials. So there would have to be a substitute for it in order to make this something that is sustainable in your garden, price-wise. And yeah, I think that's it. So if you see something that may work for a gritty mix that you already have available to you, I would go ahead and do some research and see if that is something that you can mix, or if someone has done it, in what quantities they've used it in. And yeah, that's it, friends. So if you enjoyed today's topic, if you enjoyed the discussions that we had about making our gritty mixes, why it's used, and how we can make it even better in terms of conservation, I suppose, give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on that notification bell so that you get notifications of my future videos. I think I'm gonna have a self-watering pot video, a DIY self-watering pot video in the future, just because I like that idea with this. I will be making a write-up of everything that I discussed in this video, and I'll be posting that on my Facebook page. That's Tasteful Nodes as well. They will be on Instagram, so if you want to do some late night bedtime scrolling on Instagram, check me out. I'm there as Tasteful Nodes as well. Okay, until next time, so ulitin, keep your nodes classy and tasteful. Bye guys.